What's going on, guys? It's Luke here. This is how I'm going to be trading the week of December 15th to the 19th, 2025. I'm going to run through all the areas that I have marked out on my charts. I'm going to tell you guys just some scenarios that I'm looking at and just my plan kind of going forward for the week. Before we get into it, if you guys want to join the Discord, link is in the pinned comment. We're going to do some live trading and all that stuff after the weekend. And if you guys need the discount for Alpha Futures and you want the sign up link, it's in the pinned comment as well, so go check that out. Again, follow my TikTok too, because if there's any changes in the news, I will update on there and in the Discord, so make sure you stay updated to see exactly how I'm adapting to any changes in the market or changes in the news. So let's get right into this. Starting out, we're going to start on the higher time frame and work our way down. Obviously, still on the monthly, we're still maintaining bullish order flow. Nothing's really changed there. Going down to the weekly, we're still in bullish order flow as well. We had a bearish close on this weekly candle, and that's basically due to this Friday price. As you can see, this massive sell-off we had on Friday. Like it was pretty crazy. So yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't able to catch the shorts on that, but we ended up taking a long after and ending the day in profit. So but if you guys took the shorts on that, that was definitely insane amount of points that you could have caught. So anyway, we go to the weekly, we're still maintaining bullish order flow. And if you notice also, NQ had swept out the previous week's low. And if you look at ES currently, ES has not swept it out yet. So really not something to look at too much right now. Technically a lower time frame SMT, but I'm assuming it's going to get taken out, but just something to keep an eye on. But now we're going to move down to the daily. And on the daily, we were slowly chopping up. We had a super extended push from November 21st all the way up until, on Friday. And then we had this initial sell. We were moving up so jagged, and I just figured that we were going to run through this sell side aggressively. I didn't think it was going to happen all in, one candle, but, we had that aggressive run through, and we took out a good amount of sell side liquidity. So daily has somewhat shifted bearish. It's still technically in a bullish trend. I really don't see this as flipping bearish until we start flipping below this gap right here. But I'm going to show you guys what I have exactly marked out on my charts and what I'm looking at in terms of the higher time frame. So starting out, obviously up here we have our all-time high I have marked out, and then I have previous week's high, which is this past week's high, and then I have previous week's low marked out over here. Then dropping down. Oh, and then I also have this weekly swing low down here. Then moving down to the daily, I have this small daily high, this daily fair value gap, and I believe that's it. Oh, and this daily fair value gap right here. And again, technically we do have this SMT kind of in play because NQ swept out this the previous week's low, which would be the week of what would that be? The 1st to the 5th? Yeah, that week. And then ES hasn't swept that out yet. So just something to keep an eye on right now. So really, I have no strict bias right now going into the week. We are close to all-time highs. We could make that push back up, but after that aggressive sell-off, we're going to have to see what happens. We do have a heavy week of news, which I'll get into at the end. So just a couple scenarios that I'm kind of looking at. What I would ideally like to see is we have this 4-hour gap right here, but I would ideally like to see a daily bearish for value gap or something that we can get guidance off of, because I prefer higher time frame gaps on the 4-hour and the daily for guidance, where say we have a daily gap that gets formed right here, whatever. If we come into that gap, we can look for, a rotation down. That would give us confirmation if price rejects off it that we want to continue lower. And if we flip it, we can look to continue higher. That would kind of give us our confirmation. But we can keep that 4-hour gap marked for now. And this could be an area that we can look at for guidance. So I would keep an eye on this 4-hour gap, mark it out. And, it's an area to watch. If we come into this gap off of the market open and we continue to rotate down, it's going to, give us confidence to want to look for shorts. And if we flip it, we can potentially seek higher and, seek out our buy side draw. So something to keep an eye on is that 4-hour gap. And basically, what my scenarios that I'm looking at, if we can rotate above that 4-hour gap, let me drag this out right here. I should mark this out for you guys. So, 4-hour. Okay. If we come into this 4-hour gap and we inverse it, then I'm going to be looking for price to, take out most obvious draw on liquidity, which is going to be previous week's high, and fill in this daily gap. And then from there, we'll have to reassess from there. But this would be scenario number one in terms of bullish price action. And scenario number two, if we come into this gap, we get a nice rejection, then we could see price come down into this daily fair value gap down here. And this could be an area of rejection or an area that, gets broken below and we continue lower from there. So this is kind of the main idea I have coming into the week. That doesn't mean we're going to necessarily retrace into that 4 hour for sure right away, but it's just the preferred kind of scenario that I'm personally looking at. Again, my main buy side draw as of right now is going to be previous week's high, and my main sell side draw is obviously going to be previous week's low in this daily fair value gap. So again, what I'm looking at, if we come up into this 4 hour bearish fair value gap, we start to inverse it, we're showing bullish order flow on the higher time, on the lower time frame, then I'm going to be looking for longs up into the previous week's high, this daily fair value gap, and then from here we'll have to watch. This could be an area where it rejects back down, or maybe we flip it and we keep going up towards all-time highs. So this is going to be a key area that I'm watching. Scenario number two, we come into this daily 4 hour gap, or this 4 hour bearish fair value gap. We see a rotation back down towards this daily gap. Again, this could be an area for reversal, or if we flip this daily gap, then I'll probably flip a lot more bearish in terms of bias, and I'm going to be potentially looking to seek down all the way to that weekly low where we want to run through all the rest of this sell side liquidity. So that's pretty much the two scenarios that I'm looking at right now, guys. Again, if we get a gap on we use this 4 hour gap, or we get a daily gap, we flip it, then we're going to be looking to trade higher towards previous week's high. And if we come in, we reject it, then I'm going to be looking to trade down lower. And if we get below this daily bullish fair value gap, then I will be looking to see if price can come down, take out the rest of this sell side, and head down towards that weekly low. And then potentially we start getting that higher time frame rotation. Again, I have no strict bias right now. We could easily see price just come back up to the upside after that big correction down on Friday. We could easily see price rotate all on the way back up. So those are the two main scenarios that I'm looking at right now, guys. Main buy side draw, again, is going to be previous week's high. Main sell side draw as of right now is going to be previous week's low, and we're going to see how we reject out of it. If we sweep this previous week's low, sorry, I just keep hitting the same button. If we sweep out this previous week's low and we get this rotation off this daily gap, we could easily see a bounce to the upside. Again, this is going to be our key draw on liquidity, our first key sell side draw on liquidity. So these are the scenarios that I'm looking at, guys. In terms of NQ, I'll flip over to ES, but it's pretty much the exact same scenario. On ES, I have marked out pretty much all these draws right here. It's pretty much the exact same thing. Again, ES just never swept that low, but ES does have this daily bullish fair value gap right here, which is going to be something you want to be watching as well, because if ES can sweep out, come into this daily fair value gap and, create support and come back up, this could be the area where we see both NQ and ES bounce from. But if ES wants to come down and flip this gap, then we'll probably want to seek lower towards potentially that weekly low. So again, I'm favoring, my idea of what I'm favoring right now is we get a move lower and then we make our decision from there. That's just what I'm thinking right now. Again, I'm thinking we potentially come down, maybe NQ sweeps out previous week's low, ES comes down, fill this daily gap, and then we get that rotation back upwards. Or we come down and we continue lower. I'm hoping we get the move lower. That would make things a little bit easier. Take out that little bit of sell side we have there, fill in a higher time frame gap, and get that rotation. But these are the scenarios that I'm kind of eyeing right now. These are the areas I have marked on my chart, so mark them out. Pay close attention to how we react off them, and always use your lower time frame entries and everything else aligned with news and everything like that. But these are the ideas that I'm looking at right now. Now we're going to go through the news really quick. So starting off on Monday, all we have is some orange folder news at 8:30. On Monday, I'll actually be trading, but I'm going to de-risk just because I prefer, to just trade eval usually on Monday if it's a no news Monday, but we do have an orange folder event, and depending on price action, obviously if price action is not great, I'm not going to force anything, but I will be on the charts. I will be trading, just probably risking pretty light just to see what we can catch. If we catch something good, we'll take it. If not, then we might just stick with eval, but I'll be on the charts on Monday. Tuesday is a heavy news day. Again, we have all of this, unemployment rate, retail sales, non-farm employment change, core retail sales, all this stuff at 8:30, and then 9:45 we had flash manufacturing and flash services. So the way I do this when we have 9:45 news is I just wait for the news personally. So I'm going to wait for this 9:45 news to play out, and then we'll be trading pretty much normally from there. So we'll see how that goes. But Tuesday will be a normal trading day, just waiting for this news to pass, and then we'll go from there. Wednesday, we have no major news, and this is the day before CPI. So personally for me, we do have an orange folder event. I'm probably going to be on the charts. If we see something A plus, I'll take it, but I'm going to be de-risking this day personally, just to, in anticipation, holding some capital for CPI day. So we'll be trading, but again, just de-risking and only taking something that's A plus. Thursday, we have CPI, unemployment claims, 8:30, all this stuff like that. Well, CPI is tentative, but we'll wait for all this news to pass, whatever, and then we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we get something to work with. But again, we're going to have to see how this news comes out. But this will be, a normal trading day, but depending on how price action is looking. And Friday, we have existing home sales and revised consumer sentiment, which is just orange folder news. But Friday will be a normal trading day, but again, probably just de-risking. So my plan for this week going forward is to de-risk and look for smaller risk to reward trades, just get in and out. I'm not expecting the greatest price action this week, but we'll see depending on the news. And if we get something, we'll take it, but we're not going to go heavy on the risk. We're trying to go into 2026, on a positive note. We've had a pretty good month so far, a lot of break evens, but we've been green, so we're gonna keep that going. So that's it from you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, all the links in the pinned comment, whatever you guys need, it's in there. And that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.